What is going on, everybody? Today we are breaking down the tape of Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, as well as Spencer Burford, because those three guys are likely going to start for the San Francisco 49ers, and we have some tape from the Houston Texans game, and I really want to just kind of get into it and really break it down, starting with the first play of the game. In my opinion, Aaron Banks does a fantastic job, and I really want you guys to watch this play. Banks basically just has a reach block on this defensive tackle. One of the difficult parts with this block is that defensive tackle is in what's referred to as a 4-eye technique. He is on the inside shade of the left tackle. So for Banks to reach and be able to seal him off is a big job, and he does a great job. Now, of course, the defensive tackle is going to try to swim to the inside. Banks does a really good job with his hands to really make sure the guy can't beat him with a speed move to the inside. And Banks does a really nice job sticking to him and shutting him down. That's a really nice job. Now, this play obviously does not hit for a big gain. The reason why is because the center has to cut off this linebacker and he's not able to reach and get there. The center should have taken this wide angle to cut the linebacker off, but as you guys are going to see, he's not going to take that wide of an angle. He's going to kind of run directly towards the linebacker, and the linebacker is going to end up beating him to the spot. We'll go ahead and play this in slow motion. You guys can see number 64 is not able to get to 58. Because of that, that guy ended up being right there in the gap, and 44 basically had to take him on as well. That's actually just a really nice job by the linebacker. Now, one of the things I oftentimes say is angles are probably the most important part of the game of football. And in this case, Brendel should have taken a better angle. Burford on this play is tasked with reaching to the inside of this defensive tackle. Doesn't do that good of a job. Now, I will say that this is good teach tape for the San Francisco 49ers. In my opinion, Burford should have just cut this defensive tackle and just put him to the ground. Trying to cut him off, and obviously it doesn't work because the defensive tackle slants hard to the inside. But in my opinion, he should just cut him and put him into the ground. Truth be told, it's really not that big of a deal because had the play worked to the outside, had the center been able to properly cut off the linebacker, I don't think the guy would have even been close to making the play. But let's go ahead and jump into the next snap. Now, just a quick disclaimer, we are skipping these type of plays where the offense line really doesn't do anything. They're basically just showing that this is going to be a run to the left, and the quarterback obviously rolls out of the pocket. Again, we're going to skip these type of plays. Just wanted to throw that in there really quickly. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. This play is very interesting because you have this split zone concept with this guy that's going to kind of come to wham block. You have a double here, and Burford is going to out block, but after that out block, he's going to step up to this linebacker. Now, I really want you guys to focus in on the right guard. He's going to help seal this guy off, and then he's going to get up to the next level. And of course, as you guys see, this defensive tackle is going to slant hard to the inside. And because he slants hard to the inside, the running back's going to cut it right off of that guy to the outside. So as you guys watch the play, there's the cut by number 22. But the block that sets up this massive gain by number 22 is the block right here. You know, one of the things that impresses me with Spencer Burford is his blocking angles. It's his technique. It's his strength. Like, the guy gets how to play the offensive line position. The guy understands where he needs to put his body to make sure these plays work. You know, sometimes I watch offensive linemen and I think to myself, why did this center or guard or tackle, why did they take this specific angle? Because it didn't make sense the way the defensive tackle was aligned or how the linebacker was aligned. Burford gets it, man. He's going to be a really good player in the NFL. Even Aaron Banks, I think, has a lot of potential. Personally, after watching the 3 preseason games that the Niners have played in, I think Banks is better than Burford today, but I think Burford's going to be much better. And in fact, I think Spencer Burford may be a top 10 guard by the end of his rookie season. Like, the guy has superstar potential, and it's not anything crazy that he does. It's just the fact that he's strong, which obviously will always help any offensive lineman, but his angles, his blocking angles, I think that separates him from a lot of other players. He obviously takes much better angles than Aaron Banks does today. But even the center and left guard here do a good job, right? Nothing crazy. They're just double teaming. They're really sealing the backside off. Either way, great block by Burford. Let's get into the next rep. One of the things that's very important for offensive linemen is processing. On this play, you basically have 6 defensive guys on the line of scrimmage. You have 6 guys that the offensive line has to figure out who's coming and who's not. So on this play, what the offensive line are going to do is they're going to slide to the right with the left tackle obviously picking up the backside defensive end. And they do a really good job keeping Trey Lance clean. And a big part of that is number 65, Aaron Banks. If you guys focus in on Banks, watch what he does on this play. He's going to not only stop the defensive tackle in his tracks, but the defensive end who's going to run this stunt, he's going to go directly into Banks. And then the guy that Banks has is going to loop around, and the linebacker who's lined up on the line of scrimmage is also going to come around. Now in this play, if you watch Banks closely, he's going to do a great job switching and picking his defender up right there. That's a really solid job because him being able to swap and pick that guy up ultimately gives Lance a clean pocket, and Lance doesn't even get touched on this play. That's a really nice job processing what's happening in front of him. Let's get into the next rep. Alrighty guys, this is about 4 to 5 plays later. This is a really nice block by all three, left guard, center, and right guard. I think Jake Brendel does a really solid job. He does initially lose, but he does a great job coming back around and making the block. Now, of course, as you guys look at this play, you have this power concept drawn up where the center has to seal here, Aaron Banks has a seal here, and of course, the right guard Burford is going to come on this trap, and the running back's going to hit it right inside. Now, if you watch the center first, he does a solid job making up after initially losing. I don't think the center realized that that defensive tackle was going to come so hard to the inside and really follow 74. I mean, look at this play. Like, the guy straight shoots in front of the center. Now, the center initially loses, but he does a great job sticking with that guy, coming back around here and cutting him off. Now, technically, the guy does get his hands on the running back, but Jake Brendel does a fantastic job really just putting him down. And the running back ends up picking up almost 10 yards on this play. Now, Burford, in my opinion, does a really solid job pulling and hitting this guy and really getting physical with that defensive end. I mean, that defensive end does not want to see Burford again. I mean, that right there is a move. I'm surprised Burford didn't put this guy down. In fact, in the future, when Burford comes on these pulls, you can bet that that defensive end in the future is absolutely going to be on the ground, because that's a big, physical, powerful football player coming directly at you. Now, if you guys watched my last Spencer Burford video, one of the things I actually pointed out was Burford looked as if he was about to pull. His stance just looks different. And once again, his stance looks different. Like, I'm surprised the coaches haven't corrected this. I am confident it will be corrected really soon. But Burford clearly looks like he is about to pull. Like, you can tell based off his stance. He is much further back than even the left guard. And to me, he's almost projecting like he is about to pull here. Now, that is something to just keep in mind, because in the regular season, teams will see this and teams will take advantage of this. Now, Aaron Banks' block is a really solid down block. He's going to do a great job taking the proper angles and really just sealing off this defensive lineman. That's a really nice job as well. Again, this play obviously picks up close to 10 yards. And it's because of the interior guys. It's because of the seal blocks. It's because of the guys processing and just doing a solid job. I would credit this run 100% to the offensive lineman. Although I will say the running back does a good job not getting tackled in certain spots and making his cuts and just staying up and just running through arm tackles. Great play right here. Let's get into the next rep. Here's another play where it's similar to a play we just showed you guys just recently. The Texans have a bunch of guys on the line of scrimmage. They have two guys basically lined up, one in the A gap, one in the B gap. And then they have their four defensive tackles, or say four defensive linemen, all on the line of scrimmage. And the offensive line has to process who's coming, who's not. And Burford, in my opinion, does a really solid job getting his hands, locking them out, and shutting that guy down. Now, initially, the right tackle here is going to lose on an inside move. He does do a good job making up and putting the guy down. Overall, okay play by the offensive lineman. I do like the fact that they're able to process this and shut it down. A guy who I think looks really nice on this play is Aaron Banks. Not only does he stop his guy, but I love the fact that once he has his guy stopped, he turns his head back around to process and see if the left tackle needs any help. Of course, Lance kind of gets out of the pocket, dumps it off to the running back. Nice job by the offense line to process this. It is a slide to the left, which means Burford is blocking here. 64 is responsible for this guy in case he comes. And Banks, of course, to his outside shoulder as well. Kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and jump forward and get into the next rep. You guys watch Aaron Banks, he's going to take the proper angle. He's going to shoot out of a cannon, as I like to call it. Look at how quickly he gets to that backside linebacker to cut him off. He does a great job getting to him. One of the reasons why I love Banks so much, and I loved when he was coming out of college, was because of blocks like this. The guy showed that he knows how to cut people off. And again, I said this earlier, but this is one of the most important things when it comes to offensive line play. Are you able to properly reach when needed? Now, this is an outside zone concept, and you will see Spencer Burford is going to hold. He's going to be blocking out on this outside zone. He ends up in a bad spot. I agree with this call. I think his hands just landed to the wrong spot. This block right here is going to be a really nice block by the left guard and center on this defensive tackle. And the center is going to get up to the next level. This play right here shows processing because Banks is actually trying to slip this gap and get up to number 51. That defensive tackle is not going to allow him. The defensive tackle is actually going to grab onto Banks, as you guys can see in this play. Once again, Banks is trying to slip through and get up to the next level. The defensive tackle grabs on, and Banks is going to just stick to the defensive tackle at this point. He's going to just drive him, and then 64. It's a pretty nice block right here by both of those guys. Number 51 here kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and Brendel does a great job getting to the backside here and cutting him off. That's a great job right there by both of those guys. Let's get into the next rep. One of the more impressive things I've seen this preseason is the way Burford blocks, the way he kind of moves, the way he picks things up. Like this play, man, this is crazy. Like the way his footwork is and the way he's able to get to a guy, that's unique. I noticed this on the last Burford video as well. There was a play in which he picked up a defensive line game. It was to the right here. And he had the same footwork where he's like side shuffling. And it's kind of weird because he crosses his feet. But the block's effective. Like he's so massive that his body just hitting another guy is enough to seal someone off. I mean, look at that, man. That's such a beautiful job by Spencer Burford. Absolutely love it. That's unique, man. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. You know, when I watch the San Francisco 49ers offensive line, you have to consider the fact that they're running a different type of scheme. They run this scheme that not a lot of teams run consistently. You know, you don't need to have the best offensive lineman at every individual position. You just need a group of guys that work well together. But Aaron Banks is an absolute monster, man. You know, last year he was drafted in the 2nd round by the 49ers. And this is why. I mean, watch how he crushes this 3-tech defensive tackle to the inside, right? The defensive tackle is going to slant, and look at him just crush him and put him into the dirt. And open up a running lane right here by putting the running back in a one-on-one situation with the linebacker. How do you crush a 3-tech defensive tackle so far where he's falling 5 yards to the inside? That's a nice block by Banks. And of course, Burford and the center, Jake Brendel, also do a good job on that defensive lineman. Brendel processes it. He sees that number 57. The linebacker is trying to come back to the inside. He processes it and he moves on to number 57 right there. That's a really nice job. Overall, this offensive line I think is going to be really good, especially when you get your starting left tackle with Trent Williams and starting right tackle Mike McGlinchey with these 3 interior guys. Now I think Jake Brendel is going to start, and I think this right here is why I think he's going to start. This is a really nice job reaching to the 1 technique defensive tackle. You're going to see him really just take a hard step to his left and really just seal him off on this outside zone scheme. All right, this right here is a really nice job by Jake Brendel. And this is why I think he's going to end up starting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is the first time you're on this channel, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.